Hello, welcome to Laura's Painted Minis. I am Laura, and we are back with the wererats. And I am thinking that, so I want to work on the mice friends, in case you didn't pick up on that from the title. I think the best way to go is to probably just paint them kind of a white / off-white. That way they will actually stand out pretty easy against his skin as well as the robes or cloak. So, get some paint mixed up. This is kind of what I'm thinking for colors. That's Nod Bone, Creamy Ivory, and Dragon White. Make some mixes with those. Trying to remember. I think Nod Bone might have been in a fast palette. That's why there's a 2 in front. So, but you can probably find a paint they do have pretty similar to this. I just happen to have it because I obviously had gotten the fast palette at one point. I know it's not in one of the high seas, because I know I bought a second box of one of them. I think it was like the regular one. Because I've got like a high seas adventure, I think, and then a high seas horror. And yeah, it's possible it's in the high seas horror. So if that's the case, I think they did release both of those fast palettes individually. So you might be able to get Nod Bone. I would have to check, but later. But this isn't a paint along, so I'm going to use it anyway. I try not to use the specialty paints for my YouTube paint alongs, just so that it's stuff that's likely for people to get. So yeah, we'll get his little mice friends painted up, and then we'll see where we're at. For time, these guys were kind of meant to be like a palette cleanser, since I've been doing a lot of the secondary triad of sorts. Lots of orange, green, and purples. Thus, with these guys, I'm doing red, blue, yellow. The yellow being more in like the browns, basically. And this also would be, that also would be kind of a yellow. Alright, paints are mixed. But yeah, I'll for sure be doing red on his, like, I don't know, call this a tunic kind of thing down here. We get zoomed in. That would help a lot. There we are. So yeah, we'll for sure be doing red down here get that red in. It'll be definitely like a red, but I mean everything else is a little muted, so it'll be probably on that same scale. So we'll go in here. They're so tiny, so I'm going to just do it all the same color. Let's see. I had a very fun and chaotic session of draw steel on Saturday. Let's see. Do we see his tail? I think. Yes. We continued our pursuit of trying to understand what is going on in this city. There is a lot of suspicious activity going on. And then somebody essentially tried to kill us in the last session. So now we're kind of trying to figure that out. And it kind of stumbled upon another hit that was going to be carried out in the beginning. That was in the beginning of the session after my character chased basically a drug dealer. Is what we knew him as. We knew he was kind of into the not legal things. But before we could help guards arrest him and whatnot, he ended up killing himself. So, yeah. One of the other characters was able to get his logbook and discovered kind of figured out the code on it. I found a piece of paper on him, and putting two and together, we realized that there was gonna be probably a hit going down very soon at the racetrack. So we ran up there, convinced one of the guards to escort us to the stables, and basically didn't have a whole lot of time to come up with a plan at that point, because then the races started. And that turned out to be a very bad situation of our team not having a plan, especially mixed with one of the characters deciding that having the ability that they can basically slow down time for up to 3 or 4 characters of their choice. So myself and, or actually no, he did technically choose the horse, or a horse in the stall, and I jumped onto the horse. So we could go super fast on the horse, and then one of the other and then like also the other characters as well. I was just basically grabbing onto riders that wasn't the person that we knew the hit was on and pulling them off. Some of my other party members are quite a bit more aggressive, and they were taking out horses. uh, and we got the the race to stop. It's just that we then also got arrested. So yeah, that was an interesting situation in the campaign. I pretty sure we completely ruined our DM's plans. The well, I guess you call him in Drusteel. It's called director. But yeah, he kind of was a little speechless. He was just like, I need a few minutes to at least write down all of this stuff of what happened. So, yeah. Thankfully, we were in good with the big head guy of the security in the town. There's like fire mages who run the security, and so the Fire Lord, who we jokingly referred to as Fire Lord, was Ozai. But that is not his name. But yeah, he was able to kind of get us out, but he warned us that he wouldn't be able to do that again if we did something stupid like that, or rather reckless like that again. It also is not good for my character because I chose a complication called Hunted, and I'm racking up renown points, which is not. I mean, eventually, I want to be like well known enough that I can then face, the person that's hunting me down. But that's not where we're at right now. So it's a little bit of a, I want it, but at the same time, I don't want the renown. But I don't know like what kind of DM he is. I've only played one shots with him, so I don't know if like how much he's really playing into that. I think I was the only one who chose a complication because it is optional currently anyway. When Drusteel. There are some perks to it though. I mean, like if anyone's ever searching for our party, I can just take the lay low. I can just take a lay low respite activity and they have to completely start over their search. Even though that doesn't always make the most sense, especially now that we have a house in the city. But still a nice little perk to the complication. I did realize before the session that like the way that I've built my character with kind of some of the perks and feats that I've chosen, that I'm very much kind of like a roguey paladin. I think. So you could also call it like a cleric of sorts, but it's the what they are calling a censor. And it just feels very paladin-y just on its own. Okay. There we are. There's one kind of done. Need to touch up around that tail a little bit. But I feel like that is decent enough. They're pretty small, so I mean, there's not a whole lot you'd be able to really do to these guys. So yeah, the Fire Lord was able to kind of basically spread the word that it was doppelgangers and not actually us, basically. And then also relocated us to a different house. And then we had made friends with a senator, and there's apparently like elections going on because a different senator was giving up his seat or something like that. So he was coming to kind of celebrate the end of the voting, inviting us to come celebrate with him. And then alarm bells started going off. And we happened to be near a gate, or at least came up on a gate that we could look out to see what was happening. There was a giant worm. And that is pretty much how the session ended. It was us seeing that. We've got like a round in, I guess, on it, which my character ran up to a ballista. There's kind of a tower on either side of the gate, and they had ballistas in each. So I got up to one on one side because part of my thing as a sensor is I can judge, which then pulls on, supposedly automatically just pulls them towards me. It's like 2 twice the presence stat. So for me, it's 4 squares. So I mean, I know my plan is basically to try and get its attention using the ballista, and then when it gets close enough, they can do the judge thing and hopefully pull it even closer to me so that there's various people who are technically citizens. They're just living outside the walls of the city for some reason. So we are trying to save other citizens, I guess. But that will continue the next time. We did end up kind of spending quite a bit of the beginning going over what had changed in their most recent update. As well as what we were projects we were trying to aim for. They have what are called project points. So essentially you can like work towards creating, you know, like a magic weapon or magic armor. Like if you already have the armor, you can then like imbue it and stuff. So yeah, we were going through that, doing rolls. They had gotten rid of an option which our dwarf character in our campaign had on his, I think he has a greatsword. But yeah, they decided to get rid of it, I guess. And so he needed to think about what he was changing that to. So yeah, there was a lot of shenanigans in our draw steel session on Saturday. But it was fun. I will say I definitely played my character a little bit differently than I had been. So I think there would have been a point in the race where the person that we knew about the hit on ended up grabbed his head and fell down off his horse. And I kept going on the horse to try and pursue the other people, which I mean, not entirely out of character. It was still within what that character would have possibly done in the situation. I just feel like she would have been more likely to stop and make sure that the trying to heal the person, because I'm really the only one in the party who can heal. I mean, we all have with Straw Steel. You have recoveries, and so they're like the hit points in D&D. So everyone has ability in combat to heal up. And then you can also do what's called a respite, and you regain all your stamina and recoveries and such, and a few other things too that are specific to draw steel. Okay. That is all of the wererats. So we got a decent amount of time we can get started on the red tunics. Think about let's see. We'll be entirely in shadow. So I don't think it would make sense to do like anything very bright, especially since we want it to be muted. So bring the palette back out so you can kind of watch what I'm choosing. So starting off with Dragon Red, there's about, use my brush to point, 4 drops, 2 drops, 1 drop. And I'm going to pick something else. Do. I'm gonna go with this because I also think this color will be useful in creating some mixes for his tail as well, even because they all have tails right there. Probably mix it with something else, not like this color. Oops. And we'll see how much that changes the red here. It is probably have quite a bit of white in it, I'm guessing. I need to refill my bottle. I'll just use paint water. And I could have gone with like a really light yellow or really light orange instead, but since I do want to mute things out a bit, go with the pink, especially also since I like I said, I think I would be able to use this. I think this would be a good pink, a good color to be able to use on the tail, mixed in with maybe some other color instead. There we go. Hi there, Robin Roots. It is going well so far. I got his mice friends all painted up for the most part, other than doing maybe touching up around him. And I was sharing about a TTP RPG, TTRPG, there we go, session that I played in on Saturday. Go ahead and I guess get them all base coated. That way by the time I get done doing that on all of these guys, hopefully that first one should be dry. It's pretty humid here though, so that's kind of slowing down the drying times lately. How's everyone else doing? How was everyone else's weekend? Because it was Father's Day yesterday. Did anyone celebrate that, or? One more to base coat. I probably could do his wraps here that he's got on his arms with some of the same colors that I did the mice in. Just maybe not go up to white. Or the dragon white anyway that I used. Or maybe start out like with a darker color on them. I might do that. I think maybe I'll mix. Well, I'm not gonna do that now or on stream since I've already started working on this red stuff. So I'll keep working on that. But that's kind of an idea. Oops. For these arm wraps. Okay. Just gonna make sure these areas where there's definitely some creases where there'd be some really dark shadows that I've got a good cover of that dragon red. Now we will move on up to the next color. A little bit closer for you to kind of see a little better what I'm doing. And I'll probably come back in and glaze with, do like a light glaze with the dragon red, just so it still looks like it's more of a worn out red rather than it looking pink. mixing up that glaze right now. And we're just gonna put it all over. Try to make sure it doesn't pool anywhere, but yeah, we'll just go all over that and then tint it back more towards that dragon red color. This is that color. And I was very purposely leaving behind brush strokes, in case you were wondering, because I like texture. Okay. Probably needs like another layer of the glaze, but it's not quite dry yet. So we'll go ahead and get started on a different wererat. And I was able to figure out kind of what minis I need for some one-shots that I'll be doing this fall. Make sure at my church. There's a number of us who like TTRPGs. We've been doing kind of a annual kind of weekend of it, just to try and help people kind of be able to check it out, since it can be hard to find a DM sometimes. As well as be able to connect with others in the church that also enjoy TTRPGs. But I think we determined, we being the planning team, that this will probably be the last weekend we do it for now. Served its purpose. We aren't really getting any new people coming to them, and most everyone now is in a campaign with one of the GMs that typically volunteers. So like, I mean, we'll certainly the GMs who do typically volunteer to run one shots are obviously more than welcome to just on their own schedule and have like a day of one shots or something and invite people. So we have like a Discord and a Facebook group, so there are ways for people to stay connected, even though we won't necessarily keep having the annual thing. So yeah, sorry, I thought I saw something weird in my going on with my stuff. Mm-hmm. Yes, we obviously could always bring it back too. And that needs to dry as well. Go ahead and do another layer on this guy now that that's dry. And you see how it just, it's not a wash. It's not just filling in the crevices. It is a glaze. And it just kind of tints it. And even though it is this color, this red, just thin down more. So that way the highlights and all that still will show through. It just might help smooth, it can help smooth things out. As well as tint it if it's gotten maybe too bright or too close, lightened up too much when doing the highlights. But you can see here, now that I got it, here's an angle where it's not shining off of the wet paint, and you can still see those highlights. It's still wet though. This one I think I got a little overzealous for sure in the highlights. So I will need to do more than just glazing actually. There we go. That's probably where we'll stop for today. I think I'm still kind of thinking about what I will specifically be working on Thursday, because I already finished up my husband's mini last week. And I'll probably I have a mini for myself that I've been working on. It's not, I'm going to tweak quite a few things actually. So I'm not excited about the light leather. Just for now. But I also think the blue is a little too vibrant compared to everything else. So, and I was kind of going more of a, meant to be going kind of more of a like navy blue than this. So, and I also meant to do more auburn color for the air. So, well, that's some stuff I know I need to do before I make a final decision on this light leather. But I think the light leather needs to be a neutral color. We'll see. Probably will probably pull out some things that I have set aside for the one shots that I mentioned. I actually do remember this morning that I was thinking I'd probably do these guys. Start on one of these guys. The red caps. Like kind of from the Feywild, I think, basically. But yeah. I have to kind of look up what they, a little more on what they are and what, just to even tell how to paint them. But they're pretty fun. They're from the Bone 6 Kickstarter from Reaper. So, one of these guys. So anyway, I will see y'all Thursday. Hope you have a good next couple of days. All right, bye.